Audrey Wiggins, and welcome to another episode of Make Something Happen. We're making it happen in the studio today with the insurance industry. We have a mother and son duo here that have been in the insurance industry collective possibly close to 40, 50 years. And they've done a lot of good for folks and are here to share information about that. We have Johnathon Harrell on the end there, and this is his mom, my best friend Janet Williams. And will you guys just introduce yourselves and, how long you've been in the industry and really why you got into the insurance industry? Would you like to start it, John?
Okay. I have been in the insurance industry for about 8 years. I originally wanted to be a sports agent. So I did some work with some sports agents, found out the first sports agents were actually insurance agents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so as I was going through school, I got my master's at Bowling Green State University, and when it was time for me to actually leave school and pursue what I wanted to do, I looked at being a sports agent and the type of capital that you need to become a sports agent, and I just became an insurance agent because if that was the foundation for that, you have a lot of transferable skills, and that's kind of how I landed into the insurance industry.
Okay, and you're still kind of on your way to the sports management.
Well,
what do you do on Saturdays?
I do coach football at Shaker Heights High School, so I still am involved in sports, but I don't know if I'll actually pursue becoming an agent anymore, but I am still very much involved in sports and in football.
Okay, because you got an awesome son, 5 years old, he is, and you're coaching. Okay, and Janet?
Okay, well, I'm Janet Williams, and I have been in the insurance industry for 34, almost 35 years.
Okay.
And the way I actually started was I had a friend that was working for one of the major companies as an insurance rater. And during that time, everything was figured out manually.
Oh, wow.
And she worked for a company that actually gave a bonus when they had openings if you recommended someone that they actually hired.
Okay.
So she kept bugging me to apply, and it wasn't something that I had given a lot of consideration to, but I did go on and apply so that she could get the money.
And 34 years later, here you are.
They hired me, and I fell in love with the industry. It's been good for me. Always a growing experience because things are always changing, and insurance changes with everything else that happens in our society.
Yes, absolutely. And along with that, as far as, we're just going to fast forward and then we'll go backwards again, how the two of you decided, recently to connect and, collaborate.
How did we decide to collaborate? Well, as Johnathon indicated that he is in the business, has been for a little while now, and he primarily with property and casualty insurance, which is actually where I started.
Okay.
But over time, I evolved into the health industry, and with everything that is going on, and being able to more be of a full service. To the community, so that if you are a property casualty client and you need health insurance because that is becoming more of a reality that people are going to have to shop for their health insurance themselves or just in general like they do for their automobile. And me having the knowledge and he having a base that we can support and help each other.
Okay. Well, we're going to hear more from Janet and Johnathon when we come back on the other side of this message.
90% of vitamin D circulating in our body is vitamin D3, which is made by the skin after exposure to sunlight. That's why it's known as the sunshine vitamin. Vitamin D3 is actually a pro-hormone that has been found in almost every type of human cell from your brain to your bones. What's even more compelling, studies show that almost every major disease can be linked to a vitamin D deficiency, including many cancers and bone diseases. Health providers and the public alike are starting to take notice. The New York Times called it a vitamin with broad influence. Fox News reported that except for stopping smoking, there are not many other known interventions that are capable of such a reduction in the risk of death. Emerging scientific research indicates that vitamin D3 plays a key role in our overall health and well-being, and that we can all benefit from adding this supplement to our diet. Sun and diet alone just aren't enough for today's fast-paced lifestyle. By covering ourselves in sunscreen to avoid the sun's harmful UV rays, we are blocking our primary source of vitamin D. Secondary sources such as naturally enriched foods and products that are fortified with vitamin D do not contain enough to maintain healthy levels in the blood.
With our dynamic insurance duo, my mother and son here, Janet Williams and Johnathon Harrell. Now, Johnathon, I'm going to you next. I know you've been in the industry, said about 8 years, and you had some quick success. You reached momentum pretty fast. You want to fill us in there how you were actually able to do that?
A lot of hard work. A
Got
lot of
that.
hard work. Insurance in general is a very competitive industry.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of long days, but what I did is I just made sure I stayed upbeat, talked to everyone I could.
Okay.
There were a lot of different circles or networks, different connections that I have. As far as we're going through college and fraternity, I'm in a fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha. And just being involved in different things as I was actually growing up and am now, it made for a smooth transition for me to be able to talk to people. A lot of people trust me. It was very hard initially to start out, but it seems to be paying off.
Okay, you won some awards along the way as well for being top agent or what was actually the title of the awards you won?
I've won plenty of awards.
This award of winning, I can't even get it out. Award winning insurance agency.
I've won plenty of awards. Well, actually, the first award that I won was actually called the Blue Base Award. It's for the you have to have a certain amount of life insurance sales within your first quarter.
Okay.
And not every
first quarter if you came into the business.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So not everybody actually achieves that. I was able to do that within the first 3 months.
Wow.
And as I continue to expand my agency, there were months where I was actually able to actually have a Century Award as well.
Okay.
There was consecutive months, actually the only agency to have consecutive months with 100 new policies.
Wow.
In consecutive months.
Okay.
So I've received that. Those are two that kind of stick out in my head as far as insurance goes. But I've received, I have some awards. But those are the two that I like.
And that's very important, especially you have the milestone there with the Century, and then there'll be that you said Blue Base or
Blue Base.
Yeah, Blue Vase. Okay, I imagine it's a beautiful product, beautiful vase to be able to just step out and to win that award. And it has to speak, to a lot of things. When you're working your education, beginning at home, with your mom and watching her and just learning that. And some key things that you said about networks, and especially in the times in which you live in, our networks are so very important. And it's easy to connect with our networks now. When other time it was just a telephone, you maybe had to catch a train or a plane or to physically get to those folks. We're going to switch over to your mom now. Thanks, Johnathon, and tell us about your start and the successes. I know you've been very successful. I can say this is successful.
The business has its ups and downs, but you have to keep yourself up. Even in the down times, to know that it's going to turn around if you persist to go back to the basics.
Yes.
I started out underwriting.
Okay. Let me interrupt you real quick. You've actually done this business around the country a little bit. You were in
A
some
little
different
bit.
states. Yes.
A little bit.
East
Well,
Coast
the
to
East
here in New
Coast,
England.
yes, the East Coast, Hartford,
Mhm.
Connecticut, which is the capital
Okay.
of the insurance industry.
Okay.
And that is where I was an underwriter,
Mm-hmm.
and was promoted to senior underwriter very quickly.
Okay.
But I transitioned from underwriting into marketing and sales, but
Okay.
even between then into training other underwriters, mentoring them,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like I said, over into marketing and sales.
Okay.
Because part of the job that I had to do was to go out to visit agencies, like Johnathon has an agency today,
Okay.
and to review their book of business for profitability.
Wow.
And to give them some recommendations how to turn around their book of business if it was not profitable.
Okay.
So there's a lot that you learn. I mean, even like with the weather, how it affects a book of business, considering that acts of God, and then habits that people have
Yes.
that follow them. All of those things all come together for underwriting purposes. But the sales part is pretty exciting because you get to meet a lot of people, or you should meet a lot of people, and wake up with in mind that you're going to meet new people every day.
Yes.
And to let them know what it is that you do, that you're proud of what you do. And it's something that everybody needs. But
Absolutely.
they need a real knowledge of what insurance actually is.
Right. So,
Which,
yes.
yeah, I kind of coined that as buying money. Say you spend $60,000 for a car. Well, the law requires you have insurance.
Yes.
For a couple of purposes. For the loan, if you have a loan. But bigger than that is the liability.
Oh, right.
Meaning if you hit someone else, injure someone, property damage to someone else can be much greater than that $60,000 car. And we've had some personal experience to how policy really responds.
Okay.
That I share with people, from time to time when they think that they should carry state minimums. Would you like to talk about that?
It was a 3-car accident.
Okay.
And one lady actually ended up being off of work for an entire year as a result of the accident. And if I would have had the state minimum coverage, just what the state requires, I probably would have been turning over everything that I owned at that time.
Wow.
So luckily I just didn't have the bare minimum just to get by, so I don't get the letter in the mail that says, "Oh, do you have insurance? Mail me,"
Right, exactly.
that type of thing. So, it was just good to know about insurance. I think that's the biggest thing as far as insurance goes. A lot of people just say, "I have insurance," and don't necessarily know up to what limits that may be covered up to.
Right. And what that means.
Yes, and what that means. So, a lot of times try to educate people on that instead of just taking whatever might be the best price. Sometimes the best price is the best coverage, but not all.
I like to educate people, and that has been what I feel has been the foundation in my success, is being more of an educator about product and how to choose a product that's suited to you.
Janet, you've in the past several years, the organization that you had worked with before coming full time again into your own business, you would do workshops, you would do presentations, you would have an event planner, so you plan things around to help educate
Exactly.
within the market that you're trying to reach.
Exactly. When you think stereotypically of an insurance agent, you just think of a person in a briefcase and a hat, or dressed up collecting money and that type of thing, and that's so cliche, but it's so old and removed. Today, there's lots of responsibility, and if you're going to have any type of success or plan to stay in the business, you have to stay in front of people.
Okay.
And so, how do you get in front of people? I've done a whole lot of things to get in front of people, because I like the senior market.
Okay.
When you talk in terms of Medicare, that's people that's turning 65. Or that may be disabled and younger.
Okay.
And so you have to think about where your client is, what it is they like, that age group loves to have a good time.
Okay.
So it's like breaking bread, so to say, or easing the atmosphere. So I mentioned karaoke.
Okay.
I've done karaoke with 60s music and
Okay.
70s.
That
And
sounds fun.
as a segue into talking about when Medicare started, what else have I done? Big thing, exercise.
Okay.
For a lot of people that may not be mobile, but is another way.
Okay.
So again, being a segue into healthcare. And then formal seminars
Oh, yes.
as well, at hospitals, hotels, senior buildings.
It was
health fairs.
right, exactly. And it was one story that you had, which I know we won't talk about, the names of the companies right now, but it was interesting how you were expecting, like a small number of
I'll
folks
never forget.
to show up, and they had you in a small room, and you had to
Yes.
keep growing.
Yes. I was a team leader. This particular rep, they saw the event and said, they made up an excuse that they couldn't be there. And they told me that morning.
Oh, wow.
And the event was going to be at 10 o'clock, and this was like 8:30. So I had to hurry up and do what I did in the office, pack up some things, run over to Parma Hospital. Can I say that?
You already said it.
And there were only like, I think, 6 people or less that had reserved.
Okay.
Okay, and so I show up, and a table about not much bigger than this one, in a room, chairs, and the room was rather tight, but I had to be there a half an hour before, so I'm there, and I'm like, okay, nobody's gonna show up. The next thing I know, quarter of, not only did the people that had registered, but the few more people were peeking in the room. So I said, come on in. Before I knew it, the whole room was full.
Wow.
So I had to ask one of the administrators, could we have a bigger space? Before we could get settled into there were more people. And it happened again. We moved again. And so between 9:45 and 10 o'clock, I was moved into the auditorium.
Oh, wow.
And the auditorium was almost full.
Okay.
And I gave the presentation. I ran out of material. Fortunately, I did bring as much as I did, but not enough. And out of that one event, I end up with 50 sales.
That's amazing.
So I did it. Had to run back to the office because I had duties in the office. The phone was ringing off the hook. The rep that should have went was there at the office and wanted to know if I was gonna split.
I don't think so.
Like
Johnathon said, it takes hard work, and you definitely have to put in the work. That's awesome. And those are kind of the nice anecdotal stories that you can tell. And when you're standing up, before, training other agents or would-be agents. So now we're going to take another break and come back, and let's talk some more.
This is your day to shine, your time to win. So raise your cup and drink.
Hii coffee ni nzuri sana, kwa hivyo tunatakikana kukunywa, alafu tunasaidia dunia yote, trayendo los tesoros de la tierra a la gente del mundo.
Your time to win. Why do the same when you can go? Why do the same when you can go beyond, 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 go beyond.
Studies show that you are likely 1 in a billion. 1 of a billion people, that is, that are vitamin D deficient. At least you're in good company. New research suggests that vitamin D may be one of the best vitamins for your entire body, since scientists have uncovered more than 200 different genes that are regulated by this nutrient. So if you want your vitamin D without harmful rays, spray it. Taking an oral spray helps for quick absorption into the circulatory system, tissues, and cells. Vitamin D3 spray is easy to take, perfect for those who dislike swallowing pills, and is 10 times easier for the body to absorb. So be that 1 in a billion that takes their health seriously. Getting enough vitamin D might be the most important thing you do for yourself. Vitamin D3 spray, a little drop of sunshine that will make a big difference for a long, healthy life.
We're back with Janet and Jonathan, our dynamic insurance duo. No, but Jonathan, what's the buzz or the hot topics going on in auto insurance and maybe homeowners or what's
Okay.
going on there?
Well, the biggest change in the automobile insurance is the state minimum for Ohio is actually increasing.
Okay.
Everybody that has what would be considered the minimum limits, which are right now 12,000 per person, 25,000 per accident.
Okay.
Your insurance is going to go up, regardless of if you haven't had any tickets, you haven't had any accidents, just because currently you're at the minimum limits, which are going to be raised to the next tier. Your insurance is going to go up just in general. The senator actually passed a bill for that in January. They're already enforcing it as of March. So if you get into an accident, you may not actually have enough insurance. They're giving people until the month of December to currently have what they have before they have to make a change to the next limit up.
Okay.
So auto insurance won't go up until actually December, unless you've already gotten into an accident. But that's
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Another thing is on the I guess homeowner side, the property side of things. The carriers are now looking as far back as 5 years.
Oh wow.
Regarding claims instead of
For
3
claims.
years.
Okay.
On things like that. So it should give people a reason to pause as far as how quickly they file a claim on their homeowners. If they were like me, when I first bought my house, let me file a claim. Yeah, file a claim. If you do have an agent, you should call your agent first before you call the 1-800 number, because if you call the 1-800 number just to check to see if it is a claim, it'll still get marked down as a claim.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually get 2 within 5 years before you even know, without even knowing it. You'll get a letter saying that they're going to kick you off of the insurance for too many claims, but maybe you haven't even had one claim.
So can you fight that knowing that it wasn't a real claim and get that off your
you
record or no?
You can try to fight it because what'll happen is most people won't know until they try to go to a different carrier.
Okay.
So by that time, it's probably been on there for a year or so. Only thing they can do is file a dispute with that old carrier that they may have, and work with the underwriter to get it resolved.
Right, but the main thing is just to be wary and be honest.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of insurance fraud. You said things being on the record, so it's almost like a credit score.
Yes, there is almost like a credit score with insurance. What you have is actually considered an insurance score.
Okay.
And the things that they actually take into account for your insurance score is how often do you move, how long have you had insurance, and how do you regularly pay your insurance. Okay, so let's say you have insurance for 2 months and you don't pay it, come back 3 months, but like things like that. They're looking for people that consecutively, just pretty much pay their insurance if it's every month, every 6 months, or every 12 months.
Right, so that ACH debit is
is
our friend. I know some people don't like to have things come out of their accounts, but definitely that's the best way to go.
That's the best and the cheapest way to
Yeah.
go.
Oh, right.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
in Ohio,
Okay.
there's somewhat of a bidding war going on for everyone's service. So if you have an agent, you like talking to an actual person, go to an agent and see what they can find out for you. Or if you're just the internet, I want to be on the internet, don't need to talk to anybody.
Right.
You're going to spend a lot of time on the internet looking for quotes. You're going to spend a lot of time looking, but I would suggest contacting an agent, someone that would be able to provide multiple carriers for you, and they'll probably be able to get you the best deal. But what people don't know is the reason why the insurance companies may go up or down with the price is because, let's say we have a bunch of people in insurance company A
Okay.
and a bunch of people in insurance company B. Okay, all the people in insurance company A could be paying $70 a month.
Okay.
Okay, and all these people in insurance company B are paying the same price.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody at insurance company, well, let's say 70% of the people in insurance company A are running into things, crashing, getting tickets, that type of stuff.
Okay.
When it comes back time for your policy to renew after 6 months or 12 months, insurance company A say, hey, we're losing a lot of money here.
Okay.
We have to raise the rates. Nothing that the agent did or anything. It's something more of a collective group. It's almost like a company you're investing in.
Okay.
To some extent.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody has one company, and a large majority of those people are crashing or at least at fault for accidents,
Yes.
then that company comes back and they have to adjust the rates accordingly so that they're still a company.
Right. Right.
So what ends up happening is, I don't want to say that rates are never going to go down, but for those companies where people, if you can find a good company where the collective group aren't crashing or negligent for things, the rate should remain stable though.
Oh, okay. Well, Janet, what's hot in your areas? Tell our viewers.
What's hot in the health insurance always is Medicare. It's always in the news. And the Affordable Care Act that's goes into effect real soon,
Okay.
where everybody will be required to have health insurance, just like automobile insurance. You still have people wanting to get rid of Obamacare.
Okay.
You know, and so I guess they'll be fighting that forever, even after he's out of office.
Yes.
But health insurance is ever evolving. Insurance is forever evolving to respond to the needs of the people. If you've gotten your health care coverage or looked at your health care coverage this year from your employer, you may have a large deductible. Major medical is what they more look like now, because you have deductibles of $1,000 or more.
Okay.
Your preventive care is covered with most plans. And it's kind of what it's going to look like in the Affordable Care Act for the individuals that will need to carry insurance for themselves.
Okay.
That's going to be discounted for you up to a certain income. So good news for that.
Okay. All right.
That there will be subsidy from the federal government for your insurance if you have to carry it on your own. Like I said, it's just continuing to evolve all the time, which gives me a topic to talk about all the time.
All the time. Well, how can we get in touch with you?
You can reach me by email, maturemarketing@sbcglobal.net, or you can call me at 216-288-4352.
Okay.
Or you can find me at the Harrell Insurance Group office.
All right. Okay.
Or catch me at a seminar around town,
Okay.
or one of the 7 counties that I may be in.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Jonathan or Janet, either one there, how does a national catastrophe, affect us as far as, our policies, our premiums?
Our premiums, they affect us in a couple of different ways. For instance, when there is a hurricane, I guess the wind gusts can be tracked even all the way up here to Ohio,
Okay.
from off of the storm.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a couple of homeowner claims that I had as far as some of my clients here,
Okay.
and they were basically like wind and hail type things from the last major storm, which was Sandy.
Okay.
But what actually ends up happening because of that, even though that the stuff should be covered, what ends up happening is the different carriers make adjustments as far as their deductibles go.
Okay.
So what they'll do is they'll have like a separate wind and hail deductible versus whatever, like for something for fire. Or they, I've seen them go there's almost no $500 deductibles on homes now.
Wow.
Almost everybody has gone to $1,000 deductible on homes. So the national storms or like big catastrophes, even though they don't, we may not see them here in
Yes.
Ohio, we do still feel the effect of them because in every state there's a baseline rate.
Okay.
But what will end up happening is that baseline will probably end up raising when there's something catastrophic
Okay.
that happens.
Well, what I wanted to add was that insurance really is the basis of your financial well-being.
Yes.
You should have some money set aside to take care of your deductibles.
Right.
But again, insurance is going to take care of the major part of a loss. If you don't have it or proper insurance, it can be a pretty sad day. Be it through the loss of a homeowner's situation or automobile accident. We didn't talk about life insurance, but that can change the future of a family, a young family or a mature family.
Yes.
So it's good to have in place. People often say, oh, the premiums, whatever. But I was talking to somebody the other day that requested an insurance quote for someone 82 years old.
Okay.
The premium was over $100. However, provided that the application is straightforward and honest and is accepted, it's a contract. And that contract says that the claim is going to be paid.
Okay.
Okay? So $100 for, say, for 10,000
Okay.
for a person of that age.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you look at long-term care, I had the pleasure of being able to take care of my uncle in his last years. He didn't have long-term care insurance, but he had saved quite a bit of money.
Okay.
For like $140,
Mm-hmm.
his long-term care needs could have been paid for nursing home.
Wow.
Instead, I wrote a check each month for
My Lord.
$5,117. Now, this was a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but it was his money that he saved, and his real wish was that money be dispersed to his nieces and nephews. However, he was in the nursing home for almost 4 years.
Okay.
So all of the money that he had saved and worked hard for, it had to be used to take care of him. And, I explained to him that, I didn't mind writing the check because it was his money
Exactly.
that he saved for himself. But he wasn't happy because that's not how he wanted to spend his money. And if he could have rolled back the time and taken out a long-term care policy,
Yes.
then he would have done that for about $140 a month. Same thing with health. We kind of skip along
Yes.
or, go without health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But you go to the hospital and that's not going to be able to happen anymore after January.
Yeah.
And get services and just cry indigent or that I don't have. It's a
Right.
matter of setting your priorities.
Yeah.
So you want to make insurance part of the foundation of your finance.
Yeah. Again, thank you, for coming by. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And-
You're welcome.
Please do give me a call
Yes.
at 216-288-4352 or email me at maturemarketing@sbcglobal.net.
And you can contact me or look me up on the internet at HarrellInsuranceGroup.com.
Okay.
That's Harrell Insurance Group. It's probably going across the bottom of the screen. .com. Office is located in Bedford on the corner of of Northfield and Columbus Road.
Awesome. And we're going to close out today, and we're going to encourage our guests to make something happen and take care of their foundational needs with the different insurance policies that they need. Whether you can get it through your job, or if you're like me, you still have life insurance on your job, but you may have an outside life insurance, and making sure that your renter's insurance. That is so key. Forgot about my little story of not having renter's insurance. When you rent, just because you don't own a home doesn't mean you don't need insurance. And I did get caught one time with a burglary, so I've carried renter's insurance ever since then. So again, you go out and you make something awesome.